to the War Room. We are joined by Mike Benz, who you are, I guess, in an undisclosed location. I won't dox you, but you just presented to the State Policy Network talking about media literacy, all these sort of euphemistic terms, how they're coming after our kids with a lot of these programs. Can you just give us a few minutes on what you're talking about and how it links back? We got the tweet. We can put the picture up on screen to a lot of this USAID stuff.
Yes. So this is the media literacy scam. This is something that you've pointed out. I think that tweet of yours has 34 million views on it, where you pointed out Biden's declassified internet censorship plan relying on USAID to, quote, combat online disinformation by promoting, quote, media literacy. You'll also see on that list in that screenshot, DHS, the Department of Education, the State Department, and USAID. So that's 4 different federal government agencies, all providing funding, grant money, and using, quote, digital literacy as a way to, quote, combat online disinformation. Now, this goes back to the 2016 election of President Donald Trump and the, quote, fake news epidemic that the Blob said was responsible for his win. So what the Blob oriented at that time was to revive effectively an old, sleepy, mostly dead field called media literacy and redefine it to mean that media literacy is a way to combat mis and disinformation, to take this kind of existing concept and use it as a predicate to launch a censorship operation within U.S. schools at the state and local level. And the way it works is this: while parents and members of parent-teacher associations or state assemblies think that media literacy means they're teaching your kids how to read the media, what they really mean is if you don't read the right media sources, you are illiterate and need to get your mind right. And so this has become the de facto way of creating blacklists in order to block access to or the ability to cite news or information that comes from alternative news sources, basically anyone who's not the New York Times or the Washington Post, in schools all over the country. And they have spammed this weapon up to the hilt. 12 states have now made, quote, media literacy a mandatory course in K through 12 schools and have mandatory media literacy education tech firms like Newsela and NewsGuard installed in school Wi-Fi's and school devices. So this basically blocks the ability to listen to what the conversation we're having right now. And this was actually part of Norm Eisen's playbook as well. Natalie, if you can believe it, that 2025 democracy playbook from Norm Eisen, published in January this year, called for a huge push on, quote, digital literacy in schools and in the private sector and for more money to flow into the space. And until the time of our speaking, there has not been a single punching back. But I am proud to present to you today model legislation. I have a spinny chair, so I'm going to do a ceremonial spin in the spinny chair. I propose model legislation to completely blow this concept up. 12 states have made it illegal to not have mandatory state brainwashing through media literacy. I want 27 states to make it illegal to do it in the state. The same way this was done with the 1619 Project and critical race theory and DEI, the same can be done on the media literacy. All of these contracts that are effectively forced onto these school systems to contract out to these media literacy firms, well, they're not going to be able to do that if states pass this model legislation. And I'm very excited at the prospect of being able to take our schools back.
Mike Benz, I think I say thank you on behalf of the entire War Room posse. That's great to be doing legislation at a state level to keep our classrooms free of all this very scary stuff. Imagine if people couldn't watch War Room. It would be a much worse world. We've got a packed show. You know, I usually keep you longer, but we've got to get to some stuff in Texas and stuff in China. So in the meantime, if people want to follow you, maybe read this legislation, where can they go to do that?
Follow me on X at Mike Ben Cyber. Check out our foundation website, foundationforfreedomonline.com. Video archives for my work is also available on Rumble and YouTube.
Mike Benz, as always, thank you.